So patents are in the Constitution, actually, along with trademarks, or I'm sorry, along with copyrights, excuse me. A patent is for an invention and is the grant of a property right to the inventor. So it's issued by the government, the USPTO. It's a property right, just like the right to be in your house is, just like the right to own your car. It's considered a property right. The key term on this is infringement, so whether or not somebody's infringing. And we're going to get into the details of that, but I mentioned it briefly before, which is once you have a patent, it doesn't matter if someone came up with it, came out of the mother's womb as a 6-month-old and learned how to talk and created the most amazing thing. If you already have a patent on it, he can't get one, okay? And if he creates it and tries to build or make or sell whatever you have, you can go after that and stop that. I put up some examples of patents. Technically there's 3 kinds. There's a utility patent, a design patent, and a plant patent. We don't talk a lot about the plant patents because I think I forgot the exact numbers, but it's less than like 0.1% of all patent applications are plant. So it's very rare. It's a very specialized area. It's not something that's very common, so we kind of skip over that. But it works very similar in the sense of it's a plant. So it was certainly created for the agricultural community to help with new inventions within the agricultural business. So the main ones we deal with are going to be utility and design. So utility patent is pretty much what it says. It's something that's utilized, some sort of something that has a useful element to it. We'll get into that in a minute as well. And then we have design patents. So design patents are again, this is another overlap scenario. So you can have a copyright and a design patent on the same design, if you will. The most common one that I like to use is our iPhone. So as I kind of put up there, Apple has a design patent on the rounded corners of this. Now we look at it today and we go, that's crazy, everyone has it. But that was very unique when it came out, right? So they were able to get a design patent on it. And so they get that design patent for 15 years from when it was issued, and they get to enforce it. So, there's been a lot of, if you followed any of the Apple Samsung cases and things like that, there's been a lot of these back and forths about who's infringing on what and all of that. And if you look deeper, you'll actually realize they license each other's patents to each other at a very high rate. So there's a lot of cross-licensing that goes on between these different companies and these different components. So I threw a shoe up there. I mean, you can get a design patent on a shoe. So obviously a shoe has a usefulness to it, but the design piece is not necessarily useful, but you can get a patent on that. So a couple important pieces of a patent. So it's not an idea. So, I was in an Uber in DC last week or 2 weeks ago, and I told the Uber driver what I did, and she goes, "Oh my God, I have the most amazing ideas." And I said, "That's wonderful." I said, "Have you implemented any of them?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, call me when you do, because we can't do anything with an idea." So that's the most important piece. What the term that's used is reduced to practice. So that means, the reason being is the patent office doesn't want people sending ideas in. They want to know that it works, it's got benefit, it's going to help society or business or consumers or nonprofits or governments, whatever it may be, but it needs to be something that is useful for what you're doing and can be implemented. And if it's just the idea of, I want time travel, okay, me too. So how do you do it? I don't know, right? You can't get a patent on that, okay? So, it has to be something that is reduced to practice, as they call. Now, it doesn't necessarily, and there's a wide range of what that means, but it's got to be more than an idea. There's got to be the ability for somebody to look at your patent application that's skilled in your field and be able to make it from the patent application and have it work. So that's a key component. So it's hard to do that if it's just an idea, right? And so we can get a little bit of that. But I call it kind of the great bargain with the government. And what that means is the government saying, we're going to go contrary to our capitalistic society, and we're going to say, you can have a monopoly on your invention. However, in return, you have to tell us, the government, exactly how you made it. So there's no secrets. Cat's out of the bag. We'll give you that monopoly, but we're also going to publish it so that everyone else can read it, because the idea is we want to help improve innovation. So the idea is that the origin of patents kind of came out of the England in roughly the 1600s, because there was all of these unions, particularly around the iron industry. And so what was happening is it was being passed down from generation to generation. Nothing was being written out. No one knew how to make iron, basically, out of ore. And so the government got very nervous that all of a sudden there was too much power within basically these iron manufacturing groups. And so they said, hey, we'll give you a patent, kind of came up with a patent idea and said, hey, we'll give you exclusivity on this, but it's for a limited time, but you need to tell us how you're doing it. So that's the idea behind the origin of it, but it kind of kept through. And ultimately the idea of it, as it is right now, is it's supposed to improve innovation, right? So the idea is we'll give you a reason to invest in this, because you're going to be protected for 20 years. You're going to be able to hopefully make all of your money back and a lot more. It hopefully will entice people to invest and not feel that they're going to spend all this money on research and development, and then tomorrow someone else will go, oh, that's a great idea, boom, and take it. But at the same time, it's not going to last for 100 years either, so that there's not any new improvements to it or new inventions, right? So it's trying to keep that balance. And the fascinating part of this field is that it's always trying to keep that balance, because it shifts. And inventors shift and businesses shift, and the reasons for having patents can shift a little bit too. And so it's a moving target in a lot of respects. So it's very interesting to watch the courts and watch the patent office and watch Congress trying to ride this fine line within it. So